Police Bureau, please give her a big hand.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lieutenant Colonel and from Tainan City Police Department. It's my privilege to present to you the realities of human trafficking. After listening to this presentation, you may give it a second thought before answering this question. Is there a human trafficking case happening in Taiwan? My presentation today is divided into two parts. First, I will talk about the definition of human trafficking. Second, I will move on to the case study. Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States of America, once said, "All men are created equal." Some people may think of it as a cliche. However, can we truly be 100% sure that we are all equal? Is slavery really gone? To be honest with you all, other means of exploitation still exist today. Among all of them, human trafficking is something that infringes on human rights the most. People usually have a misconception about human trafficking, thinking of it as simply trading people against their will to other countries or somewhere else. In fact, human trafficking is much more than that. There are three elements of human trafficking: the purpose, why it is done; the means, how it is done, and the acts, what is done. The purpose of human trafficking requires intention for sex trade, forced labor, or removal of organs. According to American Institute in Taiwan's AIT 2016 Trafficking in Persons report, Taiwan authorities identified 278 trafficking victims. We can see from the pie chart that sex trade accounts for 71% and forced labor accounts for 29%. In other words, sex trade is 2.5 times more prevalent than forced labor. It also indicated that there have been no removal of organs trafficking cases in Taiwan. The means of human trafficking may include drugs, deception, threat, abuse of power or position, concealment of important information, and illegal jet bondage. Human traffickers usually exploit the victims by taking advantage of their unequal status or the victim's vulnerabilities, which consist of inability, ignorance, or helplessness. In addition to the purpose and means, human trafficking requires brokers and acts of concealment, harborage, transfer, reception, and recruitment. Because of the limited time, the brief definition of human trafficking given above is sufficient for the purpose of this presentation. Now, let's move on to the human trafficking case I'm going to share with you today. Our case is one of typical sexual exploitation. What makes the case unique is that the main suspect of the investigation is the city councilor of Jiayi City. Furthermore, the victims are transsexuals from Thailand. Intended for illegal profits, the gang imported transsexuals from Thailand through entertainment agents, taking advantage of their helplessness for prostitution. The victims are transsexual performers. Most of them are much more beautiful than I am. I'm serious. Their original purpose was to perform at Taiwan Sugar Refinery Suantou branch as dancers. They didn't know their job was for sex trade. The victims were forced to have sexual transactions with unproportionately low wages. For them to finance their journey to Taiwan as performers, they needed to apply for substantial loans from banks in Thailand. Thus, under the heavy financial burden, they have no choice but to continue doing this work because they didn't know anyone here in Taiwan and neither did they know how to seek for help. Some of them tried to escape, but failed because they were watched closely and kept under surveillance all the time. Once they disobeyed the traffickers' orders, they would be threatened. This is transsexual show poster of Taiwan Sugar Refinery, which is their original purpose of coming to Taiwan. The slide shows the victims were on their way for sex trades. The victim's dorm is very narrow and untidy. You can see there are a lot of monitors installed around the house, so they were watched all the time. The case was noticed by the police for an anonymous call reporting a group of foreign females wandering in the midnight under the surveillance of guards. As soon as we got the clue, we reported it to the Jiai District Prosecutor's Office. The prosecutor instructed us to carry out wiretapping and physical surveillance. After collecting the associated evidence for a year and 8 months, finally, 10 suspects were caught and 5 victims were rescued. Fighting human trafficking is a universal goal and cannot be overemphasized. However, the law can't be enforced by itself. It requires the comprehensive cooperation between the government and civil society. We are all implicated in this problem, and that means we are also a part of the solution. If you see something suspicious, don't keep it to yourself, report it to the police. Let's work together to make a difference. And then with every little effort from all of us, trust me, we can make the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. And now please ask one question to the audience.
Okay. It's my gift, my special gift. Now it's prize giving time. Answer my question, and this electric fan is yours. The special part about this electric fan can show special effect when in use. See the numbers it displays? Okay, are you ready? Yeah. Here comes the question. My question is, what kind of human trafficking is the case we just mentioned? Yes?
Sexual trafficking?
Yes, sexual exploitation. You're right, you got it. Thank you, congratulations. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. And now all the contestants has completed their presentation. So it's your turn to choose.